Secure is a new way to have completely safe and secure email and messaging. And with me, the CEO, Alon Gahi, to give me an update on the business. And Alon, good to see you again this week. And I know you've got November's a key month for you and the company, yes. Right? Tell me what's going to be unrolling in November.
Well, thank you, Jen. Hi to everyone who is watching us. So November is really the last month of the year for a company like ours to really push our sales, especially into businesses. And talking about businesses, as you may know, some of you have been following us, we have launched a consumer version of Secure with our email and messaging, and we've done some tweaks into it. So now we're getting a ton of requests from businesses. You know, you have like, john@mybusiness.com, and they're hosted with typically unsecure email services from big tech and other companies that we won't mention here, but I'm sure we all know them. So now what we're going to do by the end of November, we are launching business email hosting. So the pricing is still going to be a little bit defined, but we're going to launch email only. So right now we've got Secure, which is an email and messaging app bundle for $10 a month. You get 100 gigabyte of storage, which is the most storage of any other company out there in the world that gives you high quality storage. And then you have also the Messenger app, which is Secure Messenger for $5 a month, which lets you send encrypted, private, and secure messages to other secure user and non-secure users. So we plan to launch by the end of November Secure Mail, which will be, I believe, around $7 a month for the consumer version and $10 for the businesses. And the businesses, the reason why it's more is that you can have several domain. So if you have 5 businesses, we have medical companies, other law firm, they have 2-3 different domain. You'll be able to have up to 5 domain. You get at least 100 gigabyte of storage. We're looking at increasing that. And for $10 a month, it's really an amazing tool because businesses are the ones that really communicate to outsider and they communicate sensitive information. And that way they can use a secure send feature much better.
Well, Alon, I know I don't have to tell you about this ransomware issue and how big of a deal it is for businesses. I mean, we saw the meatpacking company just in the past 6 months, Colonial Pipeline. There was a local TV station group that was attacked more than a week ago, and they're still not back up and running again. And it disrupted their business. They were off the air. I don't know if they had to give ad time back. I mean, it's just a huge cost and a growing problem. This would prevent that, right?
This would prevent that 100% because 94% of all hacks in the world, and definitely in the business world, go through email. We have a term, it's called a BEC, a business email compromise. It's the business version of email phishing, essentially. And the reason why we can guarantee the protection is because we do not host our platform on any of the huge big tech platforms, which are great, but they're not really that secure. You can't secure 5 billion people when tens of millions of people work on the same code and everybody knows the secret sauce, as I like to say sometime on our secure segment with Anna. So essentially, we are no open source technology, proprietary tech, all hosted in Switzerland, so we obey by the strictest data privacy laws in the world, and we also have our own platform. So we're not hosting on Amazon Web Service, we're not using Office 365, it's not a Exchange email server, which, I mean, there's hundreds of articles about how many times they get hacked. So as much as I like Microsoft, I use the Word, Excel, and all that, we never use their email. So now we're going to be able to give businesses the protection that they deserve and their email domain and also their client. Because if you're a banker or a lawyer or a doctor and you want to send an email to someone or a mortgage broker, as a matter of fact, real estate is like, booming. There's so many transactions in real estate right now. Well, when you send a transaction back and forth with all the documents and your financial information, people use WhatsApp or Office 365, and that's why the poor recipient is going to have their bank account emptied. Whereas with us, when you use Secure Send, you're guaranteed that the recipient can read your email and use Secure Reply without having to by Secure. Only the sender needs to have it. And we're doing the same with our Messenger application. Right now, we're working on a way to upload your address book without data mining it. And we're going to work, I think by the end of November, we'll have it too, where you can just text someone and say, hey, hey, Jane, I want to chat with you. And you, Jane, would click on your link, and then immediately you're in the portal in Switzerland through our Helix technology that we've discussed before. It's just for businesses and government. We're already getting government interest from emerging market. And we'll talk about emerging market as well. So we're very excited to be able to finally provide that to the 30 million small businesses in the US.
So if I'm a small business, I'm thinking, what does it take for me to make the transition? Like how complicated is it? Does everybody have to get a new email address? Like, what's the process?
Actually, that's a great question. So let's say your business email is, bob@mycompany.com. Right now, bob@mycompany.com maybe is on GoDaddy or Microsoft Office or something else. You do not need to change your email address. That's the whole point. You basically can use the same domain with us. And then we have a very easy to use migration tool. You literally plug a few numbers and you basically put your hosting company's credential, it's called an SMTP or IMAP server, and you just plug that in. You would have that because when you have your own domain, you know how to do that. And then it migrates automatically all your email from your previous provider. As an example, we have a few people from GoDaddy, medical companies, and they say we have HIPAA compliance except with our email. So what they will do is they will migrate everything from GoDaddy to us. And after that, if they want to, they cancel the other service or they leave it as is. But the migration is fully automated. We're also going to add other services like archiving, data export for bigger companies, financial institutions that are needing in different countries, they want to have the data in their country. They'll be able to have an automatic daily export of their entire data to their own server as well. So they get the Swiss protection, and then they have it, let's say, whatever, in Sri Lanka, in Mexico, or any other country where the bank regulation dictates that they need to have the data there. And that saves them hundreds of thousands of dollars in equipment costs as well. So it's super easy to use. We're going to put all the instructions. Somebody can go online on the webmail, done. And we have an amazing support service as well.
Yeah, no, that's really important. And sometimes when we do these new technology things, they're kind of a lot of work for a couple of days, but then you get used to it and you're more protected in the long run. So it's just that matter of making the transition.
And Jane, businesses, now if it's a nano business with 3 to 4 users, we're there to help. We have an online help. We're going to do a little bit more than that, obviously. But, a small, medium business has typically an IT manager or an administrator in an office that does all of that. So that won't be an issue whatsoever. There's like 1.6 billion emails out there. We want to grab some of that market share. And we're here to help people to be protected. That's the whole idea. And you can still use Microsoft Word, Excel, etc. It's just the email and the messenger will protect you. So, we're pretty excited about it because finally this will take the company to a different level. So we're doing this migration right now. And in Q1, I wanted to tell you that we're going to have our first email application sometime in middle of Q1, because today, if you want to use Secure Send, you have to use the webmail.
Okay.
But all of that will be it'll be as easy as doing Gmail, like when you download, you send an email. Now you'll be able to have it on the app. And we really believe once this app is complete, the growth will be quite explosive because it'll be the one-stop shop, so to speak.
Yeah. And then you also mentioned some expansion in Latin America.
Yes, we have signed a deal with América Móvil, the largest telecom in the continent, the 7th largest in the world. COVID, unfortunately, has obviously put a damper on all of that. And now slowly things are getting back. So we're retraining the Telcel user. Telcel has 78 million subscribers in Mexico as part of América Móvil, traded in New York under AMX as a company. And then we also have 2-3 other resellers in Mexico. And we also have a company called Micronet based in Spain with offices all over Latin America. They got 3,000 resellers. We're now talking to their Colombian operation, training their salespeople. So November and December, we're going to train everybody again. There's new employees, after COVID, there was a lot of changes. And in Q1, we're going to start to see a trend. We're very optimistic that we're going to get Latin America is one of those countries that it's a continent. It's got 500 million people. It's the closest emerging market to the US, and they also have this security problem. So Latin America is going to start in Q1. We also, if I may, signed a contract with Axiata Telecom, the largest South Asian telecom in South Asia. We're starting with Dialog Axiata in Sri Lanka. They have 15 million users, and we're just completing in about 4 weeks the integration of a particular key coding system that we're doing for them. And then again, after January, they're going to start sales. And what's really good is by then, we'll also have the email app, which really makes it easy. Our messaging app is going to be tweaked out to perfection. So we're very excited about these emerging market. In the next 5-10 years, the Indo-Asian basin over there is going to have the biggest growth in the globe. So we definitely don't want to miss out on that as much as the US is our prime market.
Yeah. Well, it sounds like you've got a busy few months ahead of you, Alon.
Yes.
So with lots of expansion and important stuff again. I mean, I just feel like there's been so many of these ransomware attacks. And I think Microsoft just put out a report on the SolarWinds and how there's so many more attacks now, like 3 years worth in 3 months, what we used to see. So, this is clearly a growing problem. Global.
I have some interesting statistics on our next segment about what the government says, the stats. It's pretty scary. And about the telecom that are being hacked globally now. And we'll talk about our new upcoming secure voice application in Q1. We're going to have more product, more solution, and we're going to keep expanding. So, stay tuned.
Well, yes, and we will talk about all that in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, Alon. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great week coming up.